yes, comment down below and like this video, and don't forget to use the hashtag UCSP for more info. Are you familiar with the word social inequality? If not, come and join us and let's find out together.
Let us talk about gender inequality. First is gender. Gender is an important dimension of social stratification. Gender is meaning a culture attaches to being female or male. While gender stratification is an equal distribution of wealth, power, and privilege between men and women. We are all influenced by gender and everyone is affected by gender inequality. Gender norms or rules tells us what is appropriate for girls and for boys, women, and men to do in our society. Gender rules and stereotypes impact individuals throughout their lives. Gender inequality affects everyone, including men. Stereotypes or rules about how women and men, girls and boys should begin in childhood and follow us through to adulthood. Gender stereotypes affect children's sense of self from a young age. Also, gender stereotypes affect behavior, study choices, ambitions, and attitudes about relationships. Not everyone experiences inequality the same way. The situation is even worse and often different for people who face more than one type of discrimination. Boys and men suffer too. Ideas about what it means to be a man force boys and men to behave in very limited ways, which can harm them. Negative masculinities encouraged in boys serve to perpetuate a cycle of discrimination and inequality, denying people the freedom to choose their path in life because their gender prevents them from fulfilling their full potential. There are lots we can do to help build a more gender-equal world. Understanding the deep roots of gender inequality and challenging gender inequality when we see it are the first steps.
We have 4 ways to call out gender inequality. First, speak out about your own experiences. Second, call out discrimination in the media and advertising. Next, support other campaigners. And last, it's okay to not challenge discrimination every time you say it. We already know the ways to call out gender inequality. Now, let's define its meaning.
The first way to call out gender inequality is speak out about your own experiences. It's important if you feel comfortable to call out your own experiences of gender inequality. This could be highlighting sexist remarks made by your friends or peers or reporting harassment or regardless of places. It's important to note that there are dangers associated with calling others out on their behavior. People may not like to have their viewpoints challenged, they may react in a negative or aggressive way, so if your instinct tells you that a situation is too risky, your own safety is the priority. Often, the best course of action when discrimination is experienced is to alert an authority figure in a particular place, such as a member of staff on public transport, or where relevant your teacher or your boss. The more they made aware these issues are happening, the more they'll be encouraged to step in and be part of the solution. Second, call out discrimination in the media and advertising. Mass media is a primary agent of socialization. If you come across stories that portray gender inequalities, write to advertisers, marketers, and media outlets. Are there gender stereotypes in your textbooks at school? Does an advert in your city objectify women? Does a film you've watched promote gender inequalities? Find out who is responsible and write to them to let them know your thoughts. Also, vote with your feet. Don't support entertainment that is disrespectful to gender equality and doesn't represent their true power, potential, talent, and diversity. The next one is support other campaigners. A great way to make a big effect in the pursuit of gender equality is to join with others. Seek out local campaign groups, join or set up school societies for gender equality. There is strength in numbers. More voices tackling a particular issue means they are more likely to be heard. Helping to raise the profile of campaigns by other marginalized groups is a vital part of ending discrimination, thereby promoting equality. The last one is, it's okay to not challenge discrimination every time you see it. As mentioned above, sometimes calling out discrimination can carry risk. It's not your job alone to fix the world. Just changing how we relate with others and demanding that others do the same will not end gender inequality. Casting change will only happen if the institutions that affect our lives also change. Don't feel defeated by these big obstacles. Each small achievement is an extra step towards our shared goals.
Social stratification and ethnicity. Race is a social division that based on physical attributes, while ethnicity is a shared cultural based on common ancestry, language, religion that gives a group of people a distinctive social identity. It is a social division that based on cultural aspects. However, people of a particular ethnicity can be target of prejudice. What is prejudice? Prejudice is a rigid and unfair generalization about category of people. Discrimination, the unequal treatment of various categories of people. Do you know the difference between prejudice and discrimination? If not, let me tell you the answer. Prejudice refers to attitudes while discrimination involves actions. Both prejudice and discrimination can be either positive, favorable views providing special advantages, or negative, unfavorable views creating obstacle. Also, these biases may be built into operation of society's institutions such as schools, hospitals, and the police, the workplace. I want you to guess the jumbled letters that will flash on the screen.
Yes, you are right. The word is racism. When you hear the word racism, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? You are right again. Racism consists of conduct or words or practices which advantage or disadvantage people because of their color, culture, or ethnic origin. Its more subtle form are as damaging as its overt form. It can be seen or detected in processes, attitudes, and behavior which amount to discrimination through unwitting prejudice, ignorance, thoughtlessness, and racist stereotyping which disadvantage peoples from ethnic minorities. Identifying manifestation of racism and how it can be countered will impact on our present social stratification and bring change, especially on those who are its victims. As learners, we should be aware of all avenues where racism is to be found.
Social stratification and a definitely able person. Over 650 million people around the world live with disabilities in every region of the world and every country. Persons with disabilities often live on the margins of society, deprived some of life fundamental experience. They have a little hope of going to school, getting a job, and having their own home, creating a family, and raising their children, socializing, or both. Persons with disabilities are making up world's largest and most disadvantaged minority. The number according to the UN Handbook from Exclusion to Equality, realizing the rights of persons with disabilities, and damning 20% of the world's poorest people with disabilities and 19% for children with disabilities. In developing countries do not attend school, around a third of the world's 3 children with disabilities. And the literacy rate for adults with disabilities is low as 3% and 1% for women with disabilities in developing countries.
We will tell you a story and you will reflect and respond to the following situations and questions.
Once upon a time, a young girl who loved going to school. However, she lived in an area where some political leaders didn't want her to go to school. They used to attack the schools and try to stop girls going to school.